What's happening, people? Hope everyone's well. We've got Craig Rennie back on the
So
podcast.
I rudely spoke over him about 80 times in the last one. So
yeah, that was. I don't think I watched the last one back. I don't think I really
Brilliant.
got a word in back edgeways.
even the guests ain't watching him.
Yeah, this is the thing. I think we just because we don't plan it. It just ends up getting away from you at the time. So it's just three lads having a chat, and then before you know it, well, that's basically done. There was no sustenance really.
Yeah, the chat went on for ages, and then you were just like, right, well that's that then. I was just like, yeah, okay. Oh, it's like, well,
Yeah.
well.
So we're gonna be a bit better this time, hopefully.
But we're still looking for other guests as well.
Yes, yeah, we have got a few planned. Because Craig hasn't really worked out, so obviously we need to up our game. But we're giving one more go, and we'll see how this one goes. And then there is a couple planned. And then we'll put it out and try and find some more.
See what happens.
Yes.
Well, this is what episode
8.
Woo! How about that, eh?
It's a full series there.
It is in this country anyway.
It's over.
Yeah, essentially.
So well,
But we are going to try and lead it back towards what we sort of started with. Again, nothing planned, but as far as the idea was to start with mental health and things like that, and then we found that it was potentially getting a little bit depressing. So we sort of tried to make it a bit funnier and things like that, which we still want to do, but at the same time we want to be on message.
yeah.
So I think that's what we're going to try and head back towards that way a little bit. And then obviously we're still finding our feet as far as what people want to see, and we can sort of tell by the views and that what people are more into, and the comments and things like that. So as always, again, we appreciate the likes, comments, subscribes, all of that stuff. Like we do appreciate it.
Right.
Oh, sorry that I'm not down with the kids. You're both laughing at me. What's the matter with you?
Subscribes.
Mental. Fuck the pair of these, by the way, as well.
Woo! Cheers. You got the Red Bull, Buck Monster.
Pathetic.
Lovely.
So, do you want to... Should we have a little chat with Craig?
Nah.
Right, Craig, if you want to sit over there. Imagine if that's that.
Yeah, we can have a little chat with Craig, I guess.
I don't want to put it on you as such and make you feel uncomfortable, but if you want to just have the floor for a minute, you know what I mean, for what the purpose of the podcast was originally meant to be, as far as your experience, strength and hope, you know what I mean, with mental illness.
Yeah, I mean, it's not been like, it's not been easy, but I have like everyone else does. There's good moments and then there's a lot of bad. And it's been like that since I was like.
No, for a moment.
I'm nervous. I'm just hoping everyone subscribes.
Yeah, I know.
No, like so it's been like since I was like I think I started feeling it when I was like 14, which is quite young, but I've been around it like my whole life. Like my mum wasn't well in that, so trying to get through it, but I don't think it's really helped. I've had like a string of events I've had over the last few years that have just not helped that, and for me, like trying to deal with it day to day is just more or less keeping myself busy.
Yeah.
The thing is that I went on medication and I've done therapy. Like for me personally, it's different for everyone, but the therapy didn't work.
Right. Okay.
Like I'm sure the person I was speaking to on the phone meant well.
Do you think that's a part of it though, that it was over the phone and not face to face?
It was lockdown.
Because I've done that as well.
Yeah.
I've done both sides of it.
So I'd have someone call me and it would be the same questions. Like, what have you done this week? How have you dealt with that? How are you feeling?
Yeah. Was it the scales as well? When it's like out of 6? Like, I had to do that thing when they basically sort of say...
Is that time to talk?
Yeah. When they ask about certain things, your mental health or your depression or suicidal thoughts out of 6, and I used to get the underrated, like you say, it's repetitive.
Yeah, that's the thing. Like, it was always the same. I just felt like they were like just taking down statistics, and it was just frustrating.
Another cog in the wheel.
It's
depression. It's just
sort
sort
of
of
15 minutes of this conversation.
It's almost like you ring him and you go, 26-year-old white male, and they go, okay, that's another one. We'll put that in another box. So we've got 80 of them now.
Yeah, like they're surveying the whole thing. Yeah.
So like, I gave that a shot. Didn't really work for me. And I was on 2 different medications. I tried citalopram, but there was an unfortunate side effect of that.
I know it. Also,
please. for the crowd?
I couldn't finish, basically, yeah.
Finish what?
So I went on to something else. I went on to metazapine, which was good. It actually leveled me out, but I became very boring.
Yeah.
So like, I was just like,
I'll take you down that one then.
I was just like very level and like dull, and my sense of humor was it was there, but I just didn't find things as funny.
Yeah.
And it,
which is mental because we're fun.
You guys are hilarious.
Thank you.
Fucking pay you to say it, right? Make it believable, right?
No, so yeah, no, I went on that, and that was fine, but it was knocking me out bad. Like I would take. I remember during lockdown, when we were going through periods where we were playing like Minecraft for like fucking 12 hours a day.
Yeah, it was bad.
And
I can't relate to that one, I'm afraid.
Yeah, that was cool.
Nah. We have friends to play with online.
That's probably it. Yeah.
But I'd take my tablet at like 9, and I'd be out cold until.
Oh, what? When we was that on overnight? But you'd end up sleeping in the day and then.
No. So like, I would probably try and take a break at like 9 at night.
Oh,
right. Like, I would take my tablet and I'd watch something, but before I know it, within like 20 minutes, I was out cold. I would be sleeping through.
So is it almost like a sedative?
Yeah. Yeah. And then I'd feel horrendous.
Because it's numbing you. It's not dealing with anything. So like, it'll make you feel numb, and then like you say, a bit level. It's not solving mental health.
No,
it's just that while the pill is in your system, you're like, I'm pretty chill right now.
I don't think personally it is gonna solve it.
No.
That's the thing. I think it's just to balance the chemicals, and then you sort of try and go on with your day.
Yeah.
I don't think there's not really a solve for it. You can only just slightly get.
No, it is almost like an uncurable disease, mental health. I've said it with alcoholism before. It's an uncurable disease. It is. The only thing you can do is find ways to deal with it, keep it at bay for the time being, things like that. I'm not the big, and again, like you just said, it is a personal thing. I'm not the biggest fan of drugs. I've taken different antidepressants, different things that will help, and they can help sometimes, but I'm not the biggest fan of it. I think there is better ways to deal with stuff. Like you said, keeping busy is a big one.
Yeah, I mean, I'm quite lucky because I play football. So that helps. But
sport's massive.
Yeah, that helps. And I've tried going gym. It's just, it's good for you, but I just can't. That's boring.
That is
ways
always
around that.
massive.
I was going to say, I think gym's a big one for some people, but there's ways around of finding that same rush rather than going to the gym.
Yeah.
But Harry done a lot of home workouts and you get the same rush.
Oh, yeah, I've got the endorphin rush.
In the comfort of your own home, there's no stress of who's around you and who's looking.
Yeah, I'm far too insecure to go to the gym.
Yeah.
Yeah, I lost a lot of weight and got into okay shape for me anyway.
I'd probably go to the gym just to do the leg press.
Or just to impress people.
Yeah, just to impress people. Look at this sort of weight. I carry this all day. So there's some power behind them legs.
He's got legs.
Yeah. Someone said that before. It was Ethan Suplee said about it. Someone of like George's size of 19, 20 stone. Essentially, every time they get up off the settee. Yeah, obviously, I thought I was being generous, to be honest. But every time you get up off the settee, you're essentially deadlifting 20 to 24 stone.
How does that make you feel?
28 stone?
Yeah, 28. Yeah. No, I mean, every time he gets up, it's 30 stone minimum he's lifting.
This number's just going higher and higher.
Yeah, with 35, no higher.
Max.
Yeah, max.
Don't call max. You can
say it. No, the thing I find funny with Craig, though, the way, because Mum does similar, but I always say like how everyone deals with it differently, mental health, and the thing that me and him not argued about, but had conversations about in the past was that he's very open on social media with like what's going on and how he's feeling. I said, whereas then I'm like too much for a bloke to let people know. I have to be like, nah, I'm fine.
Yeah, you do hide yours a lot, yeah.
So I said it was always weird that like me and Craig being best mates, how different it was.
Best again.
Well, fucking everyone else has got their own best mates, haven't they? It's like
controversial, though, isn't it?
Yeah, but you are just mates.
Why
as a
does that
group.
annoy you?
It doesn't annoy. I just think it's harsh.
But it's like I'd lived with Ben, but then like Ben and Connor have been, like we said before, they've been mates since they were like primary school. So it's like they're technically best mates, isn't they?
I talk. Well, like for me, I talk to you more than I speak to anybody else in the group.
Yeah.
So
where do I rank in you? That's mate.
Well, after what you said earlier about Ben being your favourite, I imagine pretty fucking low now.
Good boy, and he's Arsenal.
Barely.
Well, is it?
He's more Arsenal than you are.
Well, because I'm not an Arsenal fan.
Exactly.
And neither is he. He just watches the games sometimes.
So that's enough for me.
No,
Been
we're
up
not-
now, taking him up to games.
I think. How many games are
3.
My mate took me to a Brighton game. Doesn't make me a
That's
Brighton
good.
fan.
Weird break.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Shit. I'd never brag about watching a Brighton game.
No.
Should we
Yeah.
get back on topic?
Yeah.
So let's move on.
Yeah.
But no, yeah, I always find it funny that some people can use social media for a good thing in the
Yeah.
sense of being able to. But then you've got quite a bit of backlash for that.
I've always been very open though. Like
Yeah, but like, I mean, there's being open and there's posting it online. A lot of people don't take that seriously.
yeah. Then
I see
people
it's
go like,
attention
oh.
seeking. Yeah.
And Craig's been a big one for that, where people just think it's him.
They assume.
I don't like. Yeah. And that's.
There's
I
odd
don't
times I
feel-
think it
That's
is.
other people's insecurities.
Yeah, I was
though,
going to say, but there's odd times I think you are attention seeking, but that's not that you're not feeling shit. It's just like, well, if I put this out, hopefully someone.
I think any social media is a
It's
form of
attention,
attention
yeah.
seeking. Attention seeking isn't necessarily a bad thing. I am an attention seeker, but not as in come and feel sorry for me. As in I want attention for my
Yeah,
humour.
it's like boredom.
Yeah, I'm an attention seeker because I want eyes on me.
Well, it's the same
Not
as like, even with the singing. It's
Yeah.
like I'm proper insecure about it,
Mhm.
but I put it out there because it was nice to hear people say, "Oh, that's good."
That's attention
Yeah.
seeking.
But I'd still be putting out shit in my pants, thinking this isn't good.
Yeah.
And then people wouldn't get that because I try and explain. They were like, "Well, you must know that you're good if you're putting it out." And I'm like, "No, I don't think I am."
Yeah.
So it's nice.
If anything,
to-
you're looking to find
Yeah.
out whether you're good or not. Yeah.
I do a song and I'm like, "Is that? I think that's shit." And then you're sort of putting it out, hoping someone goes, "No, that's decent."
So what was you think when you would post these sort of things about your mental health online?
He was
If
just
you
there,
can remember, what was your
Dick in
thinking
hand.
whilst I'm going to post that?
dick in hand, waiting for an ego boost. Like, come on,
Is that? Yeah, it might be that.
someone
No,
tell
it
me I'm
was-
good. Someone.
For me, like it was just I never used to have like the balls to basically just go to somebody that was close to and be like,
Yeah.
I'm struggling.
So you put it out there to everyone, hoping someone like George would latch on and go, "What's this about? Are you all right?"
I would put it out there because a lot of the time, mainly my Twitter, I'd use as just like a
Well, it's
journal.
almost used like a diary, isn't it?
Yeah, a journal, a diary
Like,
type.
not
thing.
looking for attention from someone else, but it's
But-
like rather than writing it in a book.
Mm.
But then I found that a lot of people that are within my followers or followings sort of have gone through similar things.
Yeah.
And then I just talk to people and I find it weirdly easier to talk to strangers than sometimes
Yeah,
to
that
somebody
does make
I'm
sense,
close
yeah.
to.
But then it's funny you say that and you don't like therapy.
Yeah,
Because normally that's the point of
But
therapy.
then I think you just had a bad experience with therapy.
Yeah, but,
I
yeah,
did.
probably,
Yeah,
but it's like...
I'm not telling people not to.
No,
do it.
I'm not saying that, but I'm saying it's funny that your experience of it is what I didn't know. Look, but as in, if say you put out and someone on Facebook said, "Oh, I'll ring you,"
Mm.
you'd probably enjoy that phone call,
Yeah, but
even though it's a stranger you're chatting to on the phone.
But the thing is like when you're speaking to a therapist, they're not telling you that they're not telling you similar experiences they've
Yeah,
had.
no,
It's
I
not
agree
like
with
we're
that.
sat there like comparing, going, "Oh, I've done this and you've done
Mhm.
that," but it's like comfort in the fact that people have gone through similar experiences and you can take.
Do you not
comfort.
find comparing really frustrating? Sometimes?
No, I'm with Craig on this because obviously I go to my meetings for my alcoholism, and that to me is the most important thing in my sobriety as opposed to counselling. I've actually stopped doing my counselling. Obviously, I've talked about it that I was doing it. I've stopped it. It wasn't really for me, and I find I get a lot
Slagged me
more.
off as well, didn't they?
Hey?
Slagged me off.
It's complicated. I'm not going to get into all of it. It just
said, said about me being a big lad, and then there was that. There's probably a reason for that.
Yeah, there's a lot of things I didn't particularly agree with. She tried to sort of pick me apart,
Yeah.
but I'm not going to get into that now. But
Let's get into it.
another episode. This is Craig's. Just trampled over since then. Oh, okay. But no, I found that.
Yeah, cheers. That
Not
monster.
you're a monster, but
Yeah, no, talking to someone else who's been through it, I think is a lot better than talking to someone
No,
who
no,
can give
no.
you a doctor's opinion.
Yeah, I get what you're. I know, I get that. But I'm saying, as in, you know, like not just a one-on-one conversation. But, you know, if you just get into it as a group or something, or people you've met out, and then you start talking about it, and it almost seems like it becomes like a competition where people start comparing.
Yeah.
Well, actually, I've been through this, and I don't like that.
Yeah, but then I think you've got to deal with that yourself. Obviously, especially when it comes to alcohol, we spoke about before, there's this competitive nature. Well, I had this amount to drink, or I could drink this amount. But you just have to ignore that sort of stuff.
Oh
It
yeah,
comes all
yeah.
the time.
I'm not saying I'd be fucking saying it back like.
the only
Yeah, well, I've been through this, but I'm just saying I don't like it when people do that. I'm happy to
Yeah.
sit there and they say, "Oh, I struggle with this and I've had this
Mm.
happen." When it becomes like a, well, I've had it harder.
yeah, that winds me up because I've had that before where people go, "Well, there's people worse off."
Mm.
Like I don't care about that. That's
That
everyone
is one of
deals.
our worst things.
Everyone
People say
deals with their own personal battles differently and
Mhm.
affect people differently.
Yeah.
like it's unfair for me to sit there and try and confide in someone and say I'm really struggling with this, for them to go, well, there's people that are worse off.
Yeah.
Because
It's not wrong, but it's irrelevant.
Like, it's irrelevant to my situation. That this is what I'm.
Yeah, you're saying
struggling
as if you're ignorant to that. Like you're sitting there thinking I'm the worst person in the world. like you don't know there's shit going on.
The only thing I will say on the other side of that is I'm a big fan of preaching gratitude. As far as I do gratitude lists and that every night, and I pick on the smallest possible things. You know what I mean? As far as a nice cup of tea that I had, a walk that I had, every little thing that was good about the day. And the best times to do it is when I've had a bad day, because I don't want to do it. There's nothing to be grateful for. It's a terrible day. I was depressed. I've had enough. But I've forced myself to find all of the best parts of the day, and it can cheer me up. But once again, that's personal.
Yeah. But then
Somebody else might be like that.
Wake up depressed again.
It depends. Like you say, there's ups and downs in it and that. So I'll have spells when I'm good and spells when I'm bad.
I think one of the worst periods for me that I've had, where come on.
So too.
The worst period I've ever had.
Is when I come back from Australia.
Yeah.
And I had like, I find it really hard to adjust because even though I was over there for a year, like I had bad periods over there where things weren't going great, but I liked it over there. It's just fun. It's so childish.
It really is, George. This is serious.
Yucky. Yeah.
It goes the other way around or something, doesn't it? Over there in Australia.
This is how I think periods go. Just a swash.
Yeah. No, it goes. It's like under rather than over. Like down under. Please
carry on.
Yeah, I've lost my train of thought. But I come back, and I find it quite difficult to adjust. But I was quite lucky because I had a good friendship circle. I had a good friend. Yeah, I didn't really.
The shape of the circle.
Yeah.
That's what you mean.
And there was a period where like I spent like a week and a half just in bed. I didn't leave. My dad was like, "You coming down for dinner or like whatever," and I just wouldn't eat, and I was feeling really crap. And then there was a point where I don't it's too heavy. I don't really want to talk about that specifically.
Can't say heavy with this period talk.
No, yeah.
I've got to try and move past it. This is you, because you put it in my head now.
But you got annoyed at me.
You can talk about it if you want to talk about it. It don't matter about.
I had a big moment of weakness where I woke up one day and thought, that's it.
Yeah.
And I just walked up high down with the full intention of just not coming back. And set it all up and went to do it, and I was just caught. It was just not. I put it around, and then it's just complete. I remember it just being a complete blackout from there for me. But then with my dad turning up.
Yeah.
But it was a bit of a strange period, and I told him about it, and he was like, "I'm annoyed with you," but she was understandable. But like, from there.
That's you then, sorry.
From there, it was like, from there it was actually, it got better from there.
It's funny though that you say that, because there's other people I probably wouldn't have reacted that way with, but you know, like with each person you know how to react when they do something like that. And I feel like with Craig, if you let him know that you're sort of disappointed,
you're going with tough love.
then that seemed to work, because I remember at the time him being a little bit like, didn't know how to do it. Like, fuck, I weren't expecting that. Because I think most people like, I'm really sorry to hear that. Like, I'm always here if you need anything. I didn't do any of that. I just went straight to it. I was like, that's genuinely pissed me off that you didn't think in that moment you could ring me and talk to me and blah blah, and that sort of opened his eyes a bit to it. There's other people that would be different. Like I wouldn't say that.
So
that was like a rock bottom moment. So you're saying since that time things have been a bit better. Obviously, still good and bad and up and down.
Things have improved. I've had moments.
Things haven't got that low again.
No, definitely not. But
even if it's just above, they haven't ever got that low again. No.
Well, I think it's improved because I've got a decent job.
Yeah.
Pays well, so that in that respect, like before I'd come back from Australia, I'd never really been good with money. I was in and out of like jobs and stuff. I find a stable job that pays alright. Admittedly, I'm back at home, but I don't mind that.
But then that was because of other shit.
And in that respect, I count my blessings for that, because I'm in a much better place now than I was back then.
Yeah.
So I count my blessings, but it doesn't mean I don't have really bad days.
No, this is
And
it.
then
But then without sounding horrible to what you went through, I bet there's a lot of people who can relate to the lockdown thing
yeah,
as far as being that low.
It's
And
a hard time that was.
yeah, because it was so 50-50 with
Yeah.
some people. Like for me, it really wasn't a bad time at all. Because I was like, if anything before that, it was worse because I was on the 0-hour contract, not
Yeah.
sure when I was working, not sure what was going on, and the next thing I know, I'm like getting paid more than what I was anyway on the scheme there. Furlough, yeah. I was getting more money on the average of what I'd worked the year before because the summer I'd done a lot of hours, whereas it had come round to it where I weren't doing as many hours. So I was getting paid more money weekly than what I was. I had all this time off. And then obviously, without sounding like a dick, Craig comes back from Australia and it's like I was gutted for him, but happy for me because I'm like, well, I got my mate back. So
yeah.
and then obviously I'm just chilling, playing PlayStation, chatting to them, like doing whatever I wanted. So for me, it was actually quite a good time.
See, my lockdown was dark.
Yeah,
It's the most I ever drunk. I had periods of.
you fully spam
It's because you've ruined that word now.
I'm not calling me the child.
Yeah,
I've stopped now.
I
You
know.
looked straight at me and went,
I had to commit to it at that point.
Carried it on.
I had bad moments in my drinking throughout the years, but lockdown was a bad one. We'd had the car crash, so I'd been off anyway for a chunk of time. Then went back to work for like a matter of days before lockdown kicked in. I'm now stuck indoors, caning painkillers, strong painkillers, and drinking bottles of whiskey every day. And it was a dark time for me, and that led to me getting sober. Where we spoke about in the podcast before, but once lockdown ended and the pubs reopened, it wasn't that long after the whole thing that I ended up getting sober because I'd really gone through a bad spell. Obviously, my heart was going and things like that. So yeah, lockdown was a bad one for me as well.
It was almost like a blessing in disguise. Though,
Yeah, it was because I mean we call it in sobriety, so we call it the gift of desperation. When you're that low and you're that desperate, that you have that gift of like, well, I've got to do something.
Yeah.
And it was almost a bit like what you were saying, because you had that rock bottom moment. That was almost like your gift of desperation. You're there on the brink, and it's life and death in that moment. You know what I mean? I'm like, I could do it. I could just end it all now and get off this ride because it hasn't worked for me. I've had a go and it worked for me, and I'm done. But you didn't, and now you wake up the next day and go, well, look, I'm here. It's a bit like Afterlife, isn't it? Like the premise of that show. You know what I mean? When you sort of like, right, well, I'm here now, so shall I have another go at it? Yeah.
You could just end it at any time.
yeah.
And you've chosen to have a go at it.
Yeah.
Whether that be, like you say, having a job with a bit more security and money and things like that, relationships with friends and things, you know what I mean? Things have improved. At the very least, you're trying.
But going back to what you're saying about lockdown, I think that was more or less just a big reset for everyone. Gave a chance
because by the end of it, me and Craig were having a really fucking good time. But as far as you started low, but by the end of it, we was going for our illegal walks and stuff.
Yeah.
As stupid as that sounds, and his dad was losing his mind, like, you shouldn't be doing that. But we find it funny, and it ended. I think my Facebook profile picture is still the one we were sitting on the beach, and that was during lockdown. It was when you cut my hair.
Yeah.
My hair actually looks quite good in it. That was when you cut my hair. But yeah, it was quite weird that just within that, because what was it? It was like 2 years in the end, year and a half of lockdown in the end.
Yeah, I mean, not the whole thing wasn't. It did start to creep back out.
I think you'll be surprised how long that actually went.
We were indoors for a long time.
Yeah, but there was phases in that. Because I went back to work. I only had 5 months off work.
I don't know. I had ages.
I'm sure. I come back in the March, and I'm pretty sure we weren't really allowed to leave the house until at least August.
Yeah.
What, the same year?
Yeah. But you're like the 1 hour exercise.
I don't know. Mine went on for ages.
It did seem to go on for a long period. It did for years, obviously, but
I had a solid year of like barely working.
No, I had a bit of time off the car crash, and I think COVID, I had 3 or 4 months, and then I was back working.
Oh, yeah, no, I didn't have that. But even still, like, obviously you weren't allowed to meet in the groups and stuff.
Yeah.
So, which is weird that, yeah, from you coming back and being like that to by the end of it, it just sort of like got better and better. But then without sounding too like it's about me, I think it probably helped that you came back and I was here.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
You weren't coming back to nothing.
No, of course. Yeah. I don't think it helped me when I decided to elope again back to Scotland.
Yeah.
Yeah, that didn't help me.
So when you're, like you said about having bad days and that, so say for example you wake up one morning, I don't know how it works for you, but you wake up and it's on you.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? The second you wake up, you just feel it, that dark cloud over your head. We've all had it, you know what I mean? When it's just like, you're already starting off on the back foot. Oh, it's going to be one of the days. Just not in the mood. You've still got to go and you've got to do the normal stuff. What do you do to try and get through it? You know what I mean? To keep your head above water.
That's a hard one because I don't really. I just sort
You
of
feel like
just
you just go through
I
the
just
motions.
get I just
Autopilot, innit? You just
yeah, literally. It's just I go through the motions. I know I've got to get up. I'm gonna go to work. When I get to work, the best thing for me not to do is just talk to anybody. And
Okay.
I think that's a bad take to have on it. I
Mm.
think you should really speak or just
But
try
it's
and
your
engage in
process.
conversations. But until I've got myself back up to a point where I can be like in the day where I think, okay, I can start this sort
And
of
what do you think gets you there? So say it's on you. Is there a part of you that can keep calm because you think, yeah, but I've done this before. Eventually I'll snap out.
text them saying morning, babe, and then that helps his day.
Yeah. But is there something in you that's like, yeah, but I can get through this? Or are you panicking? You go, I can't do this.
Um, yeah, I mean, I get like it's not intrusive, but like I just get like really dark thoughts sometimes when it's really
Yeah.
bad, where I'm thinking, um, that I'm like, got the money in my bank account, I
Yeah.
can just go somewhere
Mm-hmm.
and just not look back.
Yeah.
And then I realize I'm just being a bit stupid.
Yeah.
And then I just try and like, but thing is like, as strange as it is, I've got an hour between leaving the house and getting to work.
Yeah.
And
Thinking time.
music really helps me.
Yeah.
So like, I'll listen to like, I've got playlists depending on what mood I'm in.
Yeah.
But like, I'll listen to a bit of music and it usually sort of perks me up because I'm walking on my own. I've got time,
Yeah.
so just try and decompress before
Mhm.
I get into work. But like when I'm at work, I don't. It stays at the door.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like I
Switch on for work. Like.
yeah. I've got a different mentality when it comes to work. Like I never used to, but now I'm driven in terms of work. So that a bit. There's cracks throughout the day, but the people that I work with, I'm quite fortunate, are really nice and funny people, and they know when I'm not right, so they won't just fire conversation on me. They'll sort of ease me into it throughout the day, and then they might crack a few jokes, and they'll get a smile out of me, and then that sort of
You feel yourself starting to get back to normal.
Yeah, because they know how to sort of weirdly, they know how to sort of just ease me into the day rather than just put it on top of me.
But I suppose that's where, so rather than you spiraling out of control when you wake up in that mood, you have that sort of confidence in the back of your head of like, well, I've done this before. I will get through the day. Eventually, I'll start to come back round. Whether it might not be in the day, it might be weeks. I don't know about you. I've had depression last for months, but there's always that thought in the back of my head. I always compare it to me being in a hole. I'm in this hole and I'm trying to claw my way out of it, and it's fucking exhausting. So eventually, I sit down. There's no point wasting energy trying to climb out of a hole that I can't get out, and I sit there. And sometimes I just sit in this depression. It might last months. And then eventually someone lowers a ladder and I climb out, and it's that confidence in the back of my head. However long it lasts, I will eventually get out of this hole.
Do you feel like yours has changed now? You've got Zoe though,
It's definitely been different.
because obviously you wake up and someone's there.
Yeah, like it's helped me a lot because obviously I've got someone there now that I can talk to, and she's unbelievable.
Do you know, like rather than getting up for me and Craig, we get up on our own, leave the house on your own, like, as in go to work.
I mean, there's pros and cons to
on your
all of
own.
it, because I dealt with depression being single for a very long time.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. But that's why I'm
heard.
curious to see like what it's like now as far as waking up and someone's there.
Well, the con side to it is that I don't like to put it on someone else.
Yeah,
You know what I mean? And that I have the potential to ruin her day now because I'm not in the mood, and I try my best not to. And I'm very, you know what I mean?
Not very good at it.
I do struggle. It is hard. That's the thing. But obviously, she's unbelievable. She completely gets it. She's always got my back, and she's very patient and things
It's
like
a bad
that.
back as well.
My back is shit.
Yeah. That's a bad back to have. Yeah.
Yeah.
But no, saying that though, for you two, because obviously you've been a lot more open with it. Do you find it different that people know you're suffering?
It depends on again what mood I'm in. Same as Craig, I go very quiet when I just want to be left alone.
Yeah, it's only because I found recently, since doing this anyway, I've had a lot of people say to me, I never realised you felt that way.
Yeah.
Because I've always been very good at hiding it and never really been too open with people that Yeah.
I still have the ability to switch it on around people, whether I want to or not.
Yeah, I think
You know what I mean? So only yesterday, waiting outside in town before I saw you, I bumped into a couple of people and I was a bit anxious and a bit like I'm walking in the pub, which I'm still not great with. And they come out and I could have done without it, but I switched it on.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Shook their hands, had a bit of chin wag, found a couple of jokes out of nowhere, got a laugh, and they went on their way. And then I'm like, I can breathe again now.
Yeah.
But again, what they saw was that what they expected from me.
Yeah.
Of me all confident, boys, how we doing? Couple of jokes, you know what I mean? They're like,
yeah, I just wasn't sure if anyone ever, not like it's the wrong word in it, you'll get what I mean, but like almost looking down on you when you get someone being like, you're alright, like, how are you today?
Yeah, maybe, but that's, I don't know about Craig, but that sort of thing doesn't bother me. I never feel patronised, I never feel, I don't really care.
You see
what
it in a
people
nice
think about
way
me
that they are genuine.
Yeah.
Just because obviously I never have it, so I'm always curious to see, like, for some, like mum, everyone knows what she's been through, so people always say, like, how are you though? Are you good? And it's like, it's genuine, but I'm sort of like, I've never had to deal with that. So
again, though, I switch. So you might be better off answering that because, like I say, I would never give people the opportunity, even if I was feeling down.
But then I think Craig just brushes it off. He just goes, "Yeah, I'm right."
Yeah, I think that's what it is. But I'm saying like when I'm having those days, I can put on a front very easily. But when someone just goes, "But how are you?" I'm just like,
classic,
yeah,
but
how are you?
Yeah, but how are you in yourself?
Yeah, I just go.
Yeah.
I'll be like, I'm alright. Like,
what was it? Do the poses again?
I just do that.
Robert De Niro.
Yeah.
Oh, that's horrendous. Do that again.
I can't do it like him.
Yeah, no, do it again though. What was that?
Niro.
I don't know.
That was a sucking a tail last week.
Yeah.
Oh yeah,
yeah.
Sorry about kids, but no, like, I'll go. I'll be like, yeah, I'm alright, but like, if I don't want to get into it, I'll say, I'm not gonna go.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah, and
but
people need to know boundaries. Yeah.
But yeah, again, like when I'm in those days, it's easier. I think it's easier for me to cope by people just let me sort of leave myself into the day.
How do you deal with me then?
You?
Because I don't really let you.
I'm used to it. I just take it at face value. Like I know what I expect with you, but I don't know everyone that I come into contact with.
I don't give Craig like time to with each other and anything one of them. I'm like, this needs to stop now.
Yeah.
Otherwise we have to leave each other.
But then you can be similar.
What?
Like we were talking about before, there's situations when you're not in the mood and I can tell.
Yeah.
And then I'm conflicted. Do I poke him with a stick because I know he can do it to me?
Yeah.
Or do I be nice? And then sometimes I'm nice and I think, no, I won't be an arsehole. And then the next time I'm feeling down and you're jabbing at me, I'm like, I wish I'd taken advantage of it last time now.
Yeah.
You're not a good person, George. That's what I'm trying to say.
Person. How am I not a good person?
No, you are. But you know what I mean. Like, obviously, what I think you want to do, it comes from good intentions. If you just want to cheer people up.
Yeah.
So you see Craig's feeling a bit down. You know him well enough now to be able to.
I mean, I don't think I've ever. When was the last time I've annoyed you? Must have been a while.
Yeah, it's not. It
probably
was
the last
probably,
podcast when you spoke over it.
It was probably like when I used to just bite at everything. That was the last thing you proper wind me up.
I think that's the difference of me and Craig, and the other friends were probably similar, but like me and Ben will still bite at each other, or like other people snap. Jack's not in the mood. Like Luke, I don't. But
do you not see that as a good side of a relationship?
I do, but then at the same time, me and Craig sort of have it where like we just never bite anymore. We'll give each other shit, but I can't remember the last time I argued with Craig. There's never been one where I'm like, I don't want to see him today.
He'll say something, and I'll say something back. He'll go, "You're not funny," because that's the front of it.
Well, you're not.
Yeah,
that's what I said.
Agree to disagree.
Yeah.
But we'll move on.
Agree to disagree. So technically, without number.
It doesn't matter.
Do you even hear again?
No. Nah. But like, yeah, I don't think there's been a time where we've gone at each other and gone, right, you're fucking annoying me now.
No, and without that, it makes you sound like a fucking bully. But I think if anything, it's normally you just saying to me, "It's fucking brainy," like in the past.
Yeah.
Like that time he was down the pub, I pushed her, didn't I?
Oh god, that really upset me.
That was bad.
That was bad. I was gone.
Yeah.
Right?
We was trying to watch the boxing in the crowd.
I kept poking him, and he was like, "Will you leave me alone?"
Do you remember?
I was there.
But that was me. That was genuine because I said to him 2-3 times, "Get out of my face now," because I'm trying to watch fucking boxing. Like, you know what I'm like for the boxing or football, right? And I said, "That's enough now." And he kept doing it, and he's just fucked, and he's just in my face, and I ended up just going, "Craig, fucking move away," and he was not listening. And I pushed him, But I forget about the size difference.
Yeah, I remember that.
Fucking
I
wet.
remember who was fighting as well. My wet brain.
Yeah, I know.
What it picks up on it was
Yeah.
Otto Wallin, wasn't
Yeah,
it?
yeah.
And Tyson Fury.
Yeah,
Mad that I remember that.
yeah. But yeah, and then I pushed him. And then
do remember.
he apologised me when he was walking back over to the other pub.
Yeah. He's like, fucking shouldered this thing.
It was just because I was taken back by it. Then I had that a moment of soberness where I was like, I was being a cunt.
Yeah.
Sorry, I don't want to say
No,
harsh words.
but yeah, no, it was just one of them. He just kept going and going.
Yeah.
It was just that level of drunk where he just didn't realise, and it took for me to finally, which is very rare. I get angry as well, but I genuinely did have to push him and go, fucking leave me alone for a sec.
Yeah.
And then he was a little. I remember his face, and I felt instantly guilty.
It's not a nice feeling though. Like I've been where crazy is when you're pushing at someone and you think they're on the same wave, but yeah, we're just having fun, and then you realise, oh, I wasn't having fun.
No, but the difference is I'd warned him. It weren't
Yeah,
like
I know.
he come out of nowhere. I'd warned him like 5 times.
Yeah.
That's enough now, Craig. Because I'm trying it, and then he just weren't listening. Like,
I was very, very drunk.
Mm.
Like one of the drunkest. I've
and that's
been
why I felt guilty, because I knew it wasn't Craig being Craig, but at the same time, it's taken for me to push it for him to finally leave me alone. And then he apologised to me, and then I felt bad because I'm like, well, no, I pushed you. But I'm like, it was just one of them. Yeah.
Yeah, it was a bit of a.
I think that's the most we've ever come to blows.
Yeah, apart from that, we've been quite smooth sailing, I think.
We've run out of time again.
Yeah, I know.
But
It does go quick.
It
doesn't
does, but it's been enjoyable.
Well, we've got someone lined up for the next podcast. We've got an idea in mind, so that one's sort of taken. But yeah,
And
we'll figure out a
the
time.
one
when
after
you wanna-
that, we're away.
Yeah, there's a few people that want to come on and that, but we will obviously have you on again.
Well,
So we'll figure something out. We can sort of pick up where we left off in a way.
I appreciate you letting me come on and talk.
Well, it's been nice, mate. It's been good. Got anything you want to say before we finish up? Let you take the floor.
I think that's all
No, I
well.
thought you were going to do De Niro then. Yeah.
I can't do it. I would embarrass
Do one
myself.
more, just for the...
I don't want you to lose subscribes.
Do you?
So-
Do your Andy Murray impression.
Um,
That's it. Right. Been a pleasure. Love you all the bits. Take care, people.